What's up, guys? King Nez is back, and today I have a pretty good video. We're going to be discussing Love is Blind Season 3, and we got a lot to talk about. There's other seasons. I could have did 2 and 1, but this season had to me the most craziest one I've seen yet, and Season 4 is actually coming out soon, so I just thought this is the best opportunity to get it done. So yeah, and just to say this, I actually did get an email to try to be a part of Season 4, but I do not live in Charlotte, and I'm too young to be getting married. I'm only 23, but I have been applying for other shows like The Circle, The Mole, and if they're doing another season of 20-somethings, Austin, I was trying to get onto. But anyways, so this show is about, if you don't know, a group of men and women who enter pods and every day have discussions with different people. And the thing is, you do not see the person on the other side. You just hear their voices and you guys talk and talk until you ask the person to marry them if you think they're the right person. And then after that, we get to the real stick of things where you go on vacation and actually get to know each other, actually see each other and do whatever you want. Then meet the family. And then at the end, you can say, if you think love is truly blind, and say I do at the wedding. So that's pretty much the premise of the show. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's honestly pretty entertaining if you really think about it. So we have a rough one. This is going to be a long video, so just know that. These are the final couples that ended up at the end, and all of them have weird situations that I really needed to discuss. I was going to do one couple per, but it was whatever. We also had a season 2 was actually pretty, goated. But honestly, I didn't do this one because it was kind of like iffy. But to be honest, you can go watch it, but I'm just letting you know right now, there's one MVP in this freaking show. And he was the biggest dick in it, but, it's cool. But SK, he was the GOAT. He was really the MVP of this whole season. But anyways, back to Season 3. We're going to get into it. I'm going to discuss each couple. First, we have Alexa and Brennan. In my opinion, I can't stand this couple. Brennan was the complete simp for Alexa, which is fine, but it just seemed like on screen, it just felt like he just let her get everything. And what I mean by that is that he gave it everything that she wanted. And it was that situation in that couple where she would be judgmental to him or to anybody else and be like, right, babe? Don't you believe me, or don't you agree? And even though he doesn't really understand the situation, he'll be like, yeah, babe. It was kind of like that situation where he just let her just walk all over her. Then again, I don't really know. This is how it's portrayed on screen, so I really can't say off TV if that's how it is. But on the show, they seem to be the most boring couple because they work together so much, and he just allowed everything because it looks like he enjoyed her company and he just let it happen. He even converted for her, which I feel like was really fast. And that was really one of the big things I did not like about this couple, is that he did have to convert. He had to do all the stuff for her family, which were very judgmental. So I understand why Alexa got, what she does today. And they both have a high sex drive for some reason that we needed to know about. Don't know why we needed to know, but that's how it goes in them. So it's, for me, I just think they were the most boring couple, and they were just the most one that I pretty much hated. And Brennan, we're going to get to him after the altar episodes, but that's going to be for another video because I can't stand him once we get to that. What a ridiculous thing. At the end of the day, Brennan and Alexa, the boring couple for me, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. Also, no disrespect to, converting, different stuff. That's fine. I have no issues with that. I have a lot of people that I know that do that, which is okay, but I just feel like it was such a rush thing. I think like something like that takes, time. But at the end of the day, they do believe love is blind and they do get married. And now we got to discuss the next couple, which is Bartice and Nancy. And my God, this was insane. At first, I was really rooting for them because they clicked so well. They were both funny, and you could tell they really loved spending time with each other. They all thought about the same thing. They were all pretty cool. The only situation was Nancy wasn't going to say yes at first just because of how young he was. But then this man goes and actually says on one of the nights that he and Raven felt like they clicked more, like if they met each other at a bar or something, that would have been his first choice because they look good together and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, Nancy's just sitting here taking everything in, like, dude, like, how are you just gonna say this right in front of me? And at that point, I was like, yeah, this is not gonna work. And I felt so bad for her, because just think about how crazy that would be. But at the end of the day, throughout this whole, season, they really clicked and then got on and off. And then her brother was a big part of this, And Bartice wound up saying no at the altar, which would absolutely be the wrong thing, because her mother and her brother would feel like, why would you do all this? We did all of this for you to just, dump my sister at the altar. And rightfully so. Like, I would be upset too. We did all of this, get all ready. We gave you your blessing and all that just for you to just go ahead and do that. And before we get to our next couple, we gotta talk about the MVP, Andrew, bro. Andrew was the most funniest dude, dog. He made himself seem so like, I'm him, you know what I mean? He would be like, I went face to face with a tiger, or some shit like that. He was creating these stories that made him feel like he started believing them, like he did all of this stuff. And it was hard for me to believe, like, dog, you saying you did all this stuff, and you went face to face with these freaking dangerous animals. You've been doing stuff like, it's weird. And then on the icing of the cake, this man fake cried after Nancy rejected him. It was the most funniest scene in this whole show. It was like, dude, when he fake cried, I was like, yeah, this man has to be on a reunion. And sadly, he wasn't on the reunion, which was crazy, because that man was really killing it. He was the MVP. Then we get to the number 2 most toxic couple on this show. We have a number 1 coming up, but this is the second best, which was Matt and Colleen. And my God, this was such a drama. Like, the dramaticness in this couple was absolutely insane. So the situation was that Matt had a lot of trust issues, rightfully so, because the stuff that was happening to him before this was really disrespectful. I believe that his girlfriend cheated on him and then wound up getting married to somebody else. It was a big dramatic thing. I can't 100% remember what it was, but it was some really devastating stuff. And I was like, dude, why are you on the show? Because after that, I would have been like, yeah, you got to give me some time, because that's a lot of stuff to recover from. And with Colleen knowing this, right? She knows this the whole time. Does the most stupidest thing you can ever do. I couldn't believe it. It was so stupid. If you watch the show, you know what I'm about to say. I don't know if I even want to do this, but Cole is another character we're going to be discussing. But him and Colleen hit it off in the pods, and it was a thing where Cole was like, if we met at a bar and stuff, you would have been my first choice. And she was like, yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? She was like, definitely, it was like, it would have been right for us. It would have been a perfect match, yada, yada, yada. And it's just like, damn. Meanwhile, Matt is hearing all of this, right? He's hearing all of this. And that night was about to leave because he was mad about what Colleen said. Rightfully so, because you cannot do that to a man. That is messed up. You know what he's been through, and yet you do all of this and had Cole look like terrible person while you guys were agreeing that you guys would have been a perfect match. That was horrible. And I was like, dog, I wouldn't be mad if he left this whole show, because that was absolutely ridiculous. And I was like, come on, Colleen, you knew better. And she was crying as if she didn't do anything wrong. Like, come on, man. You gotta understand. Then you see it throughout the show that they would go back and forth. Matt would, start to get crazy. Colleen would try to calm him down. And everything just felt like it was wrong. And also, Colleen does ballet, and she never wanted him to go to his shows, which was weird. But yeah, they kept having back and forth situations where Matt would go crazy. And it was just insane. And it was shocking to me that they actually both said yes at the altar. I was like, really? Because Matt seemed like he was, not into it. And now we get to the best couple, I think, in this show, which is SK and Raven. Mind you, Raven was Bartice's, option that he said about Nancy. That's her. But this couple was the best couple, in my opinion. They just fit together and act like, and when you look at them as like, not really. But throughout this whole show, right, from the beginning, it wasn't just a sexual tension thing. They actually started to know each other. Everybody else, started having stuff in the first night together. These are the only ones that actually clicked and didn't go to physical things yet. Everything was pure, just heart and them just getting to know each other on the paradise while they were there. That's all they did was spend time with each other and not have anything, sexual going on. They would do Pilates because she's a Pilates instructor. Everything was just seems cool. Everything that they did was amazing. SK was very romantic to her, and Raven would try to do the same. And SK's family actually started loving Raven, especially her mom. They clicked so well, and it was just meant to be. And you can tell just the way his family loved her and she loved him. Unfortunately, at the altar, SK says no, only because they would have to do long distance because he was going to California to finish up school. And, he didn't want her to have to deal with situations like that, which was a very good thing for him to do. Obviously, Raven was very upset. Even his mom was upset, but she came to comfort Raven right after, which I thought was really great. That's why I was like, yo, this couple was actually really good. It was sad that it didn't work out at that time because it seemed like they really loved each other. But then it turns out at the reunion, they actually did get back together. Now, there's a lot of situations going on after that, but I will be discussing that in another video. But other than that, they were the best couple on the show, and there was nobody else that can top that. So yeah, it was good. If you definitely didn't see them, you should definitely look. Now we get to the most toxic couple on this show, Zanab and Cole. Now, throughout this season, Cole was the #1 douchebag in there. He just was that guy. And to bring it up before that, Zanab already had, insecurities, about her, the way she looked. And, she also lost her parents at a young age. So it was very, iffy with her. And Cole, knew that and still was like, a big dick throughout this whole show. And I was like, yeah, Cole is just something else. I don't know why she's still with him. But yeah, he even goes, when they meet all the couples, she asks him, how do you rate the other girls? And he was like 10 out of 10 and you're a 9 out of 10. It was her fault for even asking that, but it was even his fault for just saying that. Like, how can you say that? How can you say that to your fiance? Like, Bartiz did the exact same thing, basically. I'm like, dog, what is going on? But throughout the show, Cole even tried. He tried his best to, fix things. He would always do something messed up and then try to cook for her. She wound up having to fix it because he didn't know how to cook, but you can tell he was trying. But he also has his, issues because his parents didn't want to be a part of his wedding. So yeah, they both were a really rocky couple. They weren't right for each other. They would keep going back and forth. It was always something wrong with them. They would never get on the same page. And every time they were close to it, they never went to it. And then Cole gets left at the altar in the most craziest way possible when I actually felt bad for Cole. Like, it was insane. So Zanab has this whole epilogue of why she can't marry him. And it was very long. She discussed that, what you did, you really hurt me and I got really insecure and you shouldn't treat a woman like that. And, maybe you'll find a woman like that and hopefully you treat her better than you treat me. And all this other stuff. I'm like, damn, like she really she was ready to say no. It's not like she just thought of this on the top of her head. She was actually ready to say no. Even if she claims that she wasn't, she definitely knew it. And I kind of figured they weren't going to say I do to each other. But then the most craziest part is that when she leaves, she gets a standing ovation. And I was like, yo, if I was Cole, I would have been pissed. Like, come on, you had everybody give you a standing ovation because you stood up for yourself. Like, I understand it, but at the same time, have some respect, you know what I mean? So yeah, that whole situation went down. I felt bad for both of them, but Cole had, the most crazy, he actually broke down crying and I did not expect that. So I was like, yeah, this was crazy. That ending was absolutely insane. I was watching it and I was like, no way. But yeah. And at the reunion, I even felt even worse for Cole because what happened in there, we have to discuss that. And there's even a story that, made it seem like, yeah, you know what? Maybe the stuff that Zanab was saying maybe was off and maybe Cole was kind of right in some situations. But anyways, that was Love is Blind Season 3. It was very rocky. It was a weird season. And it was like people were on there just to stay on there because some of the situations was like, dog, I would have been left. But yeah, other than that, it was very interesting. I didn't have a really big issue with it. I thought they had very entertaining characters. And then the reunion, like I said, we had to talk about it because that was freaking dramatic as hell. So yeah, and then we're going to talk about After the Altar because it made me hate Brennan and Alexa even more. And I'll tell you exactly why. But that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. You guys showed so much love in my past video, and I appreciate that a lot. I hope we continue this journey together because I have a lot of bangers coming up. And just, for now, I just want to say thank you. You can also follow me on Instagram at official_KingNez for ideas, or just DM me or anything just to say what's up. It doesn't matter. I'm open arms, so make sure you go check that out. And also, I have a YouTube channel called Nez Reacts where I do wrestling videos. And we just reached 533 subscribers, so that means a lot to me. Thank you if you did subscribe. But yeah, I make a lot of wrestling videos on there, so if you like wrestling, you can go check that out. But anyways, guys, this has been King Nez, and I'll see you in my next video. Love you guys.